have a feeling will be better if we walk up this way.
Welcome to another episode of Today's Craftsman. I'm Jeff, and we're here at Maker Camp 2023. This is the Highland Hardwoods woodworking tent. Rob, myself, buddies Corey, Rob, Robert Bliss, and Matt Viz. We created this woodworking tent at Maker Camp a couple years ago. So this year, Highland Hardwoods provided us with all this walnut, and we're building picture frames. So we're going to take you through the process of how these attendees are building these frames, and you'll get to see what it looks like from start to finish. So as attendees are coming into the tent, we're directing them here to this pile of walnut. These are all about 42 inches long. They're 2 1/8 wide, and they're 3/4 thick. So we're telling folks, pick out a piece of wood, and you'll get to make a frame from that piece. So each piece makes one frame. So we'll go with this one. It's kind of cool. We have the contrasting sapwood and heartwood. So I'm over here at the miter saw. This is that KSC 60 that we made the video about a couple months ago. It's been working out great. We cut all these pieces on one battery charge, so it's been really good. So we're doing half lap joinery. So we can cut our overall dimensions here on the chop saw, and Rob's gonna cut the half lap, and we'll end up with the right size. So we set up a couple stop blocks here. This is the stop block for our sides, and this is the stop block for our top and bottom. So we'll cut these pieces, and then we'll send them over to Rob for the joinery. So now that these are cut to length, Rob over here has been cutting the joinery on the saw stop with a dado stack, and you can see how he's doing that.
Welcome to Maker Camp 2023. I'm Rob. My station here today is to cut the half laps. We're using a dado stack. We have it set up for repeatability. We've just made this little addition to the stock fence from Saw Stop, and simply screwed on a stop block. We found it's pretty effective way. I'm going to turn everything on. It's going to get really loud, and I'll show you how to cut the joinery. Joinery's cut. We're going to go next door to turn that damn button on. It's the red one.
There we go.
All right. Now that the joinery's cut, we're going to go next door to Robert Bliss. He's going to glue and pin it, and we'll have a frame.
What do you want to know?
I want to know what we're doing next.
All right, so the next part of this process is the glue up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dry fit all the parts and make sure they go together. The last thing you want to do is be scrambling during a glue up, because you have a very small open window of time to get this assembled. So we test fit everything to make sure that it fits nicely. All right. Now, the key to having a good glue joint, this is why. If I tried to set it out like that when I did it, we would have had problems. So the key to having a nice glue joint, as my friend here just found out, is we want to make sure that these surfaces that meet up against each other on the glue spots are flat, right? So we use there's a couple different ways to do that, but I find the best way to do that is just a simple block plane. This one's special because it had an open end on the sides, so when you're planing these down, you can get right up on the edges. But what happens if you try to glue this up as is, from the marks off the dado stack on the table saw, there's going to be slight ridges. And so if I tried to put these two together with the ridges, what's going to happen is that ridge is going to hold the whole thing up, and you're not going to get glue joints here. And the glue is what's going to keep it as strong as possible, right? So we want to take those ridges off really quick with a block plane. And the way this works is simple. We have a flat plane across the bottom, and this is our reference surface right here. We start with the reference surface flat on that joint, and the blade hanging off the back down below where this is, and we're going to move it across gently, just to take off the ridges on the cap of that. This open end also allows me to get right up in here, but you can also do that with a chisel. And we work our way across all those joints, and we get those nice and flat and even. They should sit together nice and flush. So now we're ready for glue. I'm going to do all the rest of these here. John, I'm gluing up your frame. I know that, it's an interactive, but if I do it, it's going to be worth a whole lot of money. So, you want to hold on to this one. It's going to be, it'll be in the MoMA one day, right? All right, we got one more to do. And you notice I'm working quick here. You don't need to this is wood, all right? Wood moves. We don't need to measure this thing with a micrometer. We don't need to measure it with a Mitoyo square or any of that stuff. What we did is we just made ourselves a square. So everything's nice and flat now. Real simple. Speed set, I do a little dollop of glue. Now I already test fitted these, so I know that they fit just perfect. So I have about 5 minutes of open time on this glue before it starts to set up. So I'm working as quickly as possible. You don't need to stress about it, but you don't want to, take a break and go get a coffee or anything. Now, when I assemble these together, because I know that my joints are square, that means that I know that my final product is going to be square here. Now, when you're putting this together, you want to read the grain and make sure everything's good. Check both sides. All right. And now I'm going to tack these together and give it time for the glue to dry. So these nails are going to just hold this together until that quickset glue dries. But it's also pretty structural. When you're doing things like doors and frames like this, traditionally there would have been pins, wooden dowels driven through. And I actually, I like to leave them out too because it's a nice feature point. But these are just coming in from the back to keep it nice and flush there. And there's our completed frame.
Who you are, what you doing?
My name is Rob DeMarco. I am putting the rabbets on the back of the frame so the piece of glass can be fitted into it. We're going to be using our router table with a rabbiting bit. Turn this on. One rabbiting bit, one rabbit, or a piece of glass, which we have over here. Good. All good.
And that's all there is to it.
That's all there is to a rabbit.
Perfect.
My name's Corey Ty. I'm from CT Woodwork here on Long Island in New York. I'm at this station here. We're doing the finishing. We're putting the plexiglass in, and we're also putting the hanger tooth on. We're applying some Total Boat Wood Honey on our piece. First, we take one of these pads. We take off any of the excess dust. After that, like he's doing here, we buff the finish in, and then we take a clean cloth, buff it off. Then after that, we decide if we want to put it horizontally or vertically. And then we put some clips on there, screw it on, and then we clip on the plexiglass on the back, and then we go home with a nice, beautiful picture frame. And then the next step is to put this tip of this plunger here in top of the plexiglass, release the trigger, and that'll put your piece in there for you. Oh, so you're going to want to go
it's not a staple. It's like
No,
a
it's a special picture frame tool.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna put this black part like that
Up against it.
up
Okay.
against it and squeeze the trigger. And that's all you gotta do.
Ah, very cool.
And that's it.
Right
Got a
on.
picture frame.
Nice. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Is that it? I'm guessing that's it.
That's it.
All right. Cool.